Hello and welcome as today's date comes in that of Tuesday, the 25th day of June 2019. My name is Derek and welcome to the Money Charts channel where always all bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management is always job number one. So gold is expensive right now. At least it is against currencies, against silver and Bitcoin. I got to do a gold versus Bitcoin chart pretty soon. I could just pop that up. It's just a matter of taking both charts, dividing two numbers by the other. But you know what's an irritating thing about downloading data for such? And I should have some of it maybe already saved, but as I can download the Bitcoin data, which is 7 days a week, 365, and gold is 5 days a week most of the time. Not always. And not even close to 365, around 250. That's how many days or so we're going to get. And sometimes you get a Sunday tick on these things because like American sites, the market opens at like 6 p.m. New York time, and well, from 6 to 12 or something, and maybe in California from 9 to 12. Then they just take that short amount of data, and it's just putting the data together. I'm used to it, and it's not that difficult to fix. But gold is expensive in those ones, meaning I wouldn't be surprised if the gold to silver ratio goes down. It's like, let me just quickly put that on the screen. 92 plus. So you need about 92 ounces of silver. And I was even thinking, you know what, I could probably very easily take one of my 1/20th gold coins and get 5 ounces of silver with it, which would actually be 100 to 1. And that's a gold coin I bought for um, $90 Canadian. And right now, that's pretty much the exact price. But those coins would go for like 130, 140. Anyway, gold to silver ratio is really high. That means gold is very expensive to buy against silver. So back to the gold chart against the US. So breaking this level of resistance, short term though, well daily term frame, having just well extended. We got a little bit of a pullback today, and that just happened within this hour. As price action has been holding amongst this 18, and then it breaks through. If you look at this on the 5-minute term, we can see that a support has like majorly established around the 12 or the 14.23 mark. And on the breakdown of that level, after supporting it, it came to the 18 lows, and there was a breakout at 1 p.m. It started right then. 2 5-minute candles going sideways, and then another good leg lower. So we've already seen it go from 14.24 down to 14.11, which is like almost a 1% volatile move. And for gold, that's relatively substantial, but it's in a live moment. This is just like a small pullback. Now, of course, on this time frame, I am now deeming this to be it's tough. It's tough. I really can't deem this bullish yet. The 18 average is not rising enough for me to do it, but it is damn close. Meaning, okay, we're having this break above it. You kind of need to settle in and hold this gain, I think, for me to deem this bullish. But I would have to think if you were looking to be a trader, I think it should have been in a while back, of course. But I think a long position at the break at around 1400 when it was holding then was to me the play. But again, I was buying gold literally as I was seeing it before. I think like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, a week ago, I made a video stating, okay, gold, Bitcoin, silver, and Litecoin are ready for big pops. And well, two of them have been popping, of course, this being gold and the other being Bitcoin. So I do say definitely on the other time frames, everything else, this is in a bullish environment. So all sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent. And I'm going to be looking if there is a sell-off for this previous level around the 1320 mark to be that of support. It's either going to be support or a failed breakout. It can't be really any other two things. It made the statement, it just screened the message, the goal that is, that things were ready to take off. Of course, majorly bullish on the daily time frame, in need of a pullback at some point, and maybe this is it now. Because when it comes down to it, this is either going to be the start of a pullback or a failed sell-off. Again, can't be any other thing. Most likely we are going to probably see in the next little while how there's a good chance maybe that we come up to this 18 where it will not really have any moves higher and then go lower again after that. I think is the most likely, and thus fill some of the space, maybe as high as 1384. But of course, I'm still looking at that 1320 if necessary. Let's move on to Bitcoin. And we'll start within its hour since we're just actually going to go to the weekly to start. Well, overextended. And just a decent break above this. Now the question I have to pose myself, and we're pretty much at a 50% retracement in between both the lines. What are we going to hit next? Either 12,930 or that of 9,814. All right then. Let's see if we can figure this out. Because this is supposed to be resistance, although I knew coming in it was probably going to have at least a decent pierce above, simply for the fact of how it consolidated at 9,100. And one of my rule of thumbs is on a breakout, it's got to have a decent level. And quite frankly, 9,800 didn't suffice such, which is why I was saying around 10.6 I figured would be the most minimum level I thought it would go to. Obviously, it has done that. At any time, it can pull back, but you have to see evidence on the shorter term time frame for such a case to be in play. The daily term every single day has been an up day. We can look at this from the believe in the 18 average on June 14th. This is why I love the 18. You can see how it did it, and well, there we go. Now the forward momentum has come through. But you have this nice little move up to the 9,000s where we spent about 4 days going sideways. Since then, basically I can do 2 sets of threes. The first 3 days, or well, first 4 and then 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 from these green candles and move right up to where we are now at 11. It has then since pulled back in an ascending triangle because we are now in like day number 4 since then. So resistance right where we're at now. We've barely pierced above it. And not drawn is this trend line. So price action just continues to flourish. To say that, to show strength, the fact that it went up here and it didn't, let alone going sideways of a move or a price correction down, the fact that it had an up price correction, as weird as that may sound, does give this me benefit of the doubt of, hey, maybe, if anything, I'm not looking for a top in here on the weekly. Eventually, of course, it's going to happen. That's a gimme. But I'm not looking for it yet. It looks like evidence here on the daily that this run is not over yet. Let's see if other time frames can suffice. On the 4-hour term, the move has just been pretty much straight up, but since it left this point in here yesterday afternoon, nice, okay leg higher, but what we are seeing now is this being 3 periods, holding and staying above this level much higher than where we would need to. I want to see it hold and stay right around here, and it's even so far doing higher than that. But that also tells me that if there's going to be a little bit of a correction, this level here around 10.8 is going to be a pretty decent area of support that we'll see how well it tests amongst it. But on the single hour term, what are we seeing in here? Well, it got going on last night after the 6 p.m. timestamp, and it left the 18. We can see how for a couple periods it paused it, and eventually it had a good move. The big sell-off occurred at 8 o'clock in the morning. But since that sell-off has occurred, we are now in period number 5 since the fact within a rising 18 average. It has lost momentum in its rate of ascent, but is still rising. We had an attempt the previous hour to break above into I'm not going to say all-time highs, but new retracement highs. That's a better word, I guess. And of course, now failing and back down. So we've had a little bit of a sell-off, still maintaining an uptrend line. And even if we, again, break in towards in here, there's nothing wrong with pulling back. But since this breakout occurred and it barely got above this level, it's bullish to come down to 10.8 and lift from there. If it doesn't, then this is most clearly a failed breakout. And a fast move after that to 98 would usually become the case. And for now, we just have to give it the wait and see. The rally attempt last to break this high failed to do so. And now, of course, just a decent move below this 18, a very fast one. So again, it's telling you that the market is attempting to go down. It told us that back in here. It didn't do it. It told us that back again at the 15:15 timestamp. When did it tell us that before? It told us that in here, and it had one leg lower. It was telling us that in here near the bottom. It told us that big time in here. And then it came up and well, came down again. So just because you see it leaving the 18 average of lows, obviously in a bull market, isn't any reason, even on the short term, to panic like, oh my goodness, we're definitely going down to 11 or lower. No, maybe we do. But we're at the same point when something like this happens now. Okay, higher or low retracement. We could have like 2, 4, 5, 6, whatever amount of periods come in, not or even match this low or not make this low lower or thus a higher low. Come back into the 18. Yes, it would start to barely decline, but if it comes back, it would start to barely flatten again. And then would okay, we're going to get neutral in here because that's one of the things that could happen. We could see 40, 50 more periods in a sideways range between 11,000 and 11,400 or even 11,350-ish, whatever. Those are potential things that could happen, but it takes a lot right now, as we can see, to bring this market down. Long term, of course, just a phenomenal move. The fact that it hasn't resisted 6,000, now the fact that it's had about a 75-80% move from that point higher. Price action is now working on a 4x move. It has already done well better than a 3x move, and it's doing it much faster than a lot of people would have anticipated. As far as profit taking is concerned, depending on your portfolio status, this is where I believe some people should be profit taking and some people shouldn't be, based on your portfolio management strategy that you're going. For some people, it's still entering into positions because the prices are well below 20,000. And as we conclude Bitcoin with the monthly working on that level, if we look at it back from in here, if you were buying here, even at this top, anywhere in here, then you're betting that it's going to break this resistance and have a good gain. So if you're looking for areas on a risk reward management for profit taking, look back then, it looked like the start was around 3,300. That's when you pretty much want to start profit taking. And profiting here, 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 and here was a good play. Of course, you can do a little bit of buyback in here if you would have chosen to do so. But now I can just talk about the exact same thing. How we have this high and this low. And breaking above it, well, I'm betting there's going to be a higher high again. And a higher high again might be somewhere like around in here. So 60,000, 3x move above it. And then, okay, sell it, profit take at 60, profit take at 90, profit take at 150, and keep on doing it until you can't anymore. And technically speaking, if you balance your portfolio at different times, you can keep on doing it to quote unquote infinity. In that, if every time it has a 25% gain, if you're selling less than 20% of your Bitcoin ownership, then at your sale point, you will be worth more than your last sale point before. So if you sell it, say, 60,000, and you wait for the price to go up 50%, we say, to 90, well, if I sell less than a third, then, like, say, a quarter or 20%, then at that point, my dollar value of Bitcoin, even though I would have less, would be worth more. And thus, that's why you can keep on going to infinity on that level. And in a case before, it would have meant, okay, so I'm going to sell at 3, 7, 8, 10, 12, 16, 19. Okay, I'm done. And and then, of course, if you're starting in here, you could say, okay, I'm going to start to sell here at this, and I'm going to sell some more at previous high, and I'm going to start here. That's why for each person's portfolio management, it's different. And then you got the situation where this is your business, this is your income, and you need whether the price is in a bull market or a bear market, you're going to need funds just for living expenses. But it makes it a lot nicer in bull markets when you can allocate less Bitcoin to do whatever purchases. And yeah, that's it for that. Let's quickly look at a few alts. Let's first look at Theta, and we'll start it within the monthly chart. There isn't many months on here, and I sold some today. Not many, a bit. As we can see, it's down a little bit of a. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this thing goes down to 800 or 750 and has a new low, even six change. And I can't really, and the log scale on this leaves a lot to be desired. So this is why I hate to use this type of chart in determining price action. But I guess I can use mathematics. I can do Fibonacci. Downside, which we will do. The low here is 1119. So that's what I'm going to put in. What I do is I take the lower high rally, which is this one in here. That comes in at 1,930 with a Fibonacci downside of 800. And it usually pierces extra, so in the 700s is where I would be thinking if, of course, it's able to break down. And if it breaks out, it breaks out. For me, Mark, I'm confident this is going to do well. That I'm just hoping that if it goes down, that the ratios work. I can accumulate a bunch more. That's because to me, it's what is this price against the others that I'm trading it against. Daily term time frame. Let's put this on the auto so we can see this. Volatility is microscopic. 4-hour term. Just a nice little sideways move. You see this last little period, how it had a nice little move up to the 18. If it can hold and stay and spend the majority of this period of the next one, which right now it's there within the 18 highs, that's giving it a little bit of an upgrade. I mean, it wasn't a downtrend, now sideways. Just a little bit to help. That'll help the 18 average of lows to start to rally if this low does not break within this period. And the next one is a good higher low as well. That would make the 18 average of lows start to go up. 1-hour term time frame. I didn't get this high. I wasn't able to get it. I wasn't home at that point. But market prices did manage on the short term here to break above this. Now we're holding and staying on this level. And a lot of this is sideways consolidation. We've had a lot of this support in here. We're just even having more numerous resistance hits at this 12 mid level. And really what this is just an attempt to get out of this and at least get to the upper end here. But what I like about this, if this is able to have a fast move higher, then I'll be able to sell for a whole bunch of different things because the mathematics upon the ratio trade. So I traded this against LITECOIN. I bought some LITECOIN. I bought some Ethereum Classic. I bought some Waves within it. And I bought some GoChain. So that's what I sold with Litecoin, mostly at 1220 and higher, even at 1200. But I was even buying some of it down in the lower end when other coins were going up and this was going down. As far as day trading is concerned, when you look at this, we're looking at action just from this here is last night. So when we look at the numbers, you have 11 and 2/3, 1166 up to 1222. That's a differential of about 60 points. We're looking at 5% from low to high. And then almost that on the way there, pretty much almost that again, and this was a better move. Going from 1182 to 1258, that's about 76 basis points, so we're looking at about 7% on that, almost exactly, 77 basis points would be on 11.7, but so that's a good move. And then the comeback here to 1198 or 1200. Right now, since that point, it has managed to get 37 basis points. That's 3%. Obviously, we could easily see this come up and give more. But lots of opportunities for day trading in this, as we can see, even before 1241 to 1177, 1237 down to 1135. In here, just this little move in here. So when you look at markets like this, I consider, you know what, the way I'm doing this trading against other coins, I kind of am. But there's even just little tricks of the trade too. As I'll show you something that I did earlier. I'm going to use Qtum next. As try and if you're ratio trading, this is a little way of trying to get the best deal that you can. Obviously, you want to work the bid ask in your favor. There's nothing wrong with buying at the ask price and selling to the bid price in some many situations. However, say I'm looking to sell Theta against something in here. I can just have my orders ready at 1253. I can deposit. I don't mind having a little bit of coins on the exchange, but I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to sell a couple hundred or 500 Theta for whatever coin, I'll have them ready to go. worst case scenario, I can just put them back on the exchange. Well, worst case scenario, the exchange goes down, I guess. But throwing that part aside, if I have the orders in, when it goes and it hits, then I'm most likely the other coin is not going to go up that big of a percentage, so it's going to work out fine. But even furthermore, let's just assume, and I'm going to show you what I did with Qtum for this example. And this market's actually going, so I'm going to have to take a quick update to see where this stands for me. But I don't think 423 is going to reflect too much for me. And it doesn't. I'm 5% from last trade on Qtum over Theta. So if anything, what I need to do is I need to deposit some Qtum on the exchange. It takes about 10 minutes to get there. And maybe put an order. If this thing manages to get north of 440, I'm going to have to get my act in gear and get it done. As Qtum against Theta, Qtum against Go is what I'm trading this against. Now earlier against the Go trade, what was occurring, and this was in the morning, so roughly this, I think it was this move in here at 8 o'clock, or yeah, it would have been the 8 o'clock move. What happened was I ended up selling Qtum in here. And I wanted to buy it against GoChain, but what happened was GoChain moved up 1.5% during that time, 1%, which that's more likely to do. Nice, 435. Keep going, buddy. But they went up, and I didn't want to buy it at that price, so I put my buy order in, and then it went up 2 or 3 more basis points. So now I have the choice to either just wait it out to either buy it, but then when Qtum went down again, I just bought my Qtum back, and then I executed the ratio trade right in here after lunch when I got home, or at lunch when I got home. Okay, well, I'm probably going to have to wrap this up. 440, there we go. What's this looking like on the one? This is just a fantastic move. Hopefully this can go up, hold higher, or hold and stay, but I'm going to be looking to sell some of this very shortly. I'm going to go to my Atomic wallet. I'm going to send some to Binance. And then and the amount of Bitcoin I have on my exchange, right now I have 148 Satoshi worth. Not really. I technically got a day trade on Bitcoin. But that's already in a sell order. But I have 148, so whatever I sell it for, I'll have a balance of whatever. I'll push 100% buy full on Theta. And at the end of the day, I'll be moving a lot of coins into wallets. And let's just take a look at Qtum on multiple time frames, see what's going on, because what does this daily move mean? And this is another test. This is test number 4 of this 440 area. And last time it didn't hold and stay in this area of this move lower, but it didn't break down anymore, and it didn't resist in this 18 after the spike. So we've made a lower low and a matching possibly higher high. Okay, that makes things very, very interesting. And short term, do we see any? Oh, okay, I would have to think. Any type of, I mean, this is overextended, and this thing can go to 600 in like 2 hours. Or even higher. That's how fast these can have the potential to go when they're lifting off like this. But when you have a move like this, at first when it's up here, I want to see it hold around 386. But now that it's made a convincing move to here, I want to see it hold and stay above really around the 400 area if there's going to be any pullbacks. But now I got to seriously consider getting off of this video so I can make a deposit into Binance. And have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.